Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and today we are continuing our short campaign of Dungeon World, a fantasy game with echoes of traditional D&D style games, but that is powered by the apocalypse. Let us go around and say who everyone is and who you're playing. Once again, I will start with Brian. Hello!
Hello, I'm Brian Cooksey. I also use he/him pronouns. I am playing Kestrel, the Halfling Thief.
Yay! And Anino.
I'm Anino. I use he/him pronouns as well. I am playing Nevermind, the human bard.
Cool, excellent. And Alyssa.
Alyssa Audette, she, her, playing Druzy, the dwarf cleric.
And Opal.
I am Opal Dragon 98. I use he/him pronouns. I will be playing Rourke, the Elven Ranger.
Excellent. And finally, Dragon.
Hi, I'm Son of a Dragon, he/him pronouns, and I will be playing Candlefang, the lizardman.
Excellent. Lizard people. They're delightful. All right. So, let's see. As I recall, stuff happened last time. There was I believe that you folks did a lot of city stuff, and I think there was going around and finding out information. And does anyone actually remember specifically things that happened that they would like to bring up? Just points of things that happened last time.
So Candlefang lit Nevermind on fire, as well as a tent.
That did happen.
That did happen.
Our suspicions about a cappella groups were confirmed.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Turns out it was a cult. Not sure if that's true of all a cappella groups or just that particular one, but you know.
It is.
Oh, okay. They're all cults.
I want to also point out that our dwarf cleric was the only one who did not get charmed by the sweet, sultry sounds of a cappella music.
Yes.
I wasn't listening, I was thinking about something else.
And I might add that she shook the entire party out of it just by nudging someone with her elbow.
Divine nudging.
Person set the room on fire, so
Yeah.
That did start the chain reaction, as it were. That is how that happened. Let me pull that up there so that I can be at roughly the same audio level, hopefully, as everyone else. We'll find out. Okay. Very cool. All right. Those were some of the basics, the things that happened. Yeah, that was just essentially during a concert that was going on in the city as you folks were kind of hanging out. There's a lot of stuff going on in this region. A lot of craziness. Among other things, there was a desire on the part of some of you, at least, to go and fetch the head of a Gorgon. I can't remember exactly why that was anymore. Does anyone happen to recall what the purpose of that was? Someone wanted it.
It was Candlefang, to prove himself as an immolator.
Ah, yes.
That's a part of my rite of passage.
That was true. There's apparently some kind of big, but just in general, I think you all got the impression that there was this big sort of cyclical thing going on, where the things on the eastern end of the desert are acting up again and causing trouble for the folks on the western end of the desert. So that's sort of the key here, just sort of going and checking that out, I think, more than anything else. But the first stop is going to be the Cave of Fire, because Kestrel apparently did not finish filling out the form when he fought the fire elemental there, and has to go back and complete it in triplicate. That's just one of those technical things that sometimes the gods require.
I'm not even supposed to work today.
I know, right? But these things happen.
Here I am.
They say thieves don't get days off. They may be
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So that said, yes, you had a very interesting night, dealing with these, just sort of dealing with this one of the many cults that has sprung up in the city, quite recently. Everyone that was entranced had images of this beautiful creature dancing, and Rorik went up and danced with it, and
Unfortunately.
then someone caught it was Candlefang caught a glimpse briefly of something after kind of being nudged to see that perhaps it wasn't quite what it appeared to be, and then woke up, and that started the chain of folks waking up and just basically breaking up the a cappella act. And that, I believe, is where we ended. So I will have to ask now, as you're in town, the show's over. Nevermind went on stage. That was actually how things ended. Nevermind went on and performed, entrancing everyone in his own way. And you're going to have the night. You're being put up for the night by the Potters Guild, who is like one of the most powerful guilds in the city, strangely enough. It's them and the bankers. They pretty much are have a pretty big lock on the on sort of the town square area. So, is there anything anyone wants to do before morning? Morning comes, so there are like final things to sort of deal with as you're working through. Your guide is staying at the temple, and so is going to basically come to your come to the pottery loft in the morning to set off with you. Is there anything you folks, that said, is there anything else you folks want to do before you head out of town?
All of my preparations are made. I just make sure I still have that feather.
You do still have the feather. You're not yet certain as to its purpose. This was the thing that you lifted off of the one of the members of the Cult of Fire. They have terribly original names. You do not yet know what they use it for, but apparently they had one. So let's see. I have the wrong information up here. So I'm going to pull the right information up, and then everything will be fine. Perfectly fine. So, as this is going on, so you folks are getting ready to head out of town. So any last minute, just out of curiosity, any last minute attempts to either steal from or give to people or help with anything or hurt with anything or anything else before heading out? All right.
Nope.
Okie doke.
Nope. Though I do have a question. Would this be classified as a perilous journey?
Yeah, we're about to undertake one, so there is a move involved there. And I need to pull it up in front of me because I want to talk to you about that, because that is indeed the next step.
I have a racial trait, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, totally. And I mean, being the ranger and being the ranger, this is definitely this is where you need to do stuff. So you have a guide, which is quite helpful. Let me flip over to this, which folks will now be able to hopefully see the map and us at the same time, coincidentally, and hopefully hear us as well. That would be nice. You never know. One never knows. So you folks are over here in the city of Shis, and you realized you were going to take the southern route, sort of skirting these camps, nomad camps, across through the South Oasis, and over to the Cave of Fire. And that's going to take approximately the better part of a day. I don't think it takes an entire day, if I remember correctly, to get to the Cave of Fire. But then it takes like half a day to get from the Cave of Fire to the City of Pillars. So that was kind of the sort of the order of operations, as I recall. But you are about to head overland, and so I need to look at this and then figure out where the guide fits in. When you travel through hostile territory, and actually you're getting out into the desert, so let's turn that soundtrack on. When you travel through hostile territory, choose one member of the party to act as trailblazer, one to scout ahead, and one to be quartermaster. The same character cannot have two jobs. If you don't have enough party members, or choose not to assign a job, treat that job as if it had rolled a 6. Each character with a job to do rolls plus wisdom. On a 10 plus, the quartermaster reduces, and then there's other stuff that happens, which we'll come to when we actually make the rolls. So, what I'm going to ask, one of you, so you each need to divvy up those jobs, and one of you can bring your guide with you to give you a bonus to that roll.
And because this is a perilous journey, I'm going to... Doesn't matter what job I take, I will succeed.
Well, might help if we had known what that was beforehand. Please hold off on actually rolling until we actually know what's happening. So, what are folks doing? What jobs are getting divvied out? Who's doing what?
I think Rourke would be a trailblazer.
Yeah. Again, you've got quartermaster, trailblazer, and scout.
Kestrel could scout, and that seems like a good person to take the guide with him.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I'll scout in some sort of horrible circles, and then you'll never see Kestrel again. Hey, then again, maybe you don't want to send the guide. I don't know. Your choice.
Any number of things could happen.
I'm sorry, but that is beneath. Never mind. So let the other.
I can be the quartermaster.
Cool.
Yeah,
Excellent.
actually, that checks out. Yeah.
Anyone trusted me enough to be like, "Hey, help us with things."
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not that you would be doing it intentionally. It's just like,
Yeah.
Here's all your stuff. I mean, oops.
You know what's interesting is that for some strange reason, I do not have much in the way of my notes here from the session for. So I might have written it down elsewhere. I don't know. But does anyone happen to recall? Was it Crochet? Was that the name of your guide?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, good. I found the right note card in the nick of time. Excellent. Okay. I seem to have 2 note cards. All right. So, let us figure this out. You are. Let's see. So, let's start with quartermaster roll. This is going to be roll plus wisdom. So it's undertaking a perilous journey. You're rolling plus wisdom.
Figure out where the button for that is.
I think it's just going to be clicking on your wisdom bonus because
Okay.
that's.
Gotcha.
I think that's all we're gonna have. Okay, you got a 9. And then we'll go ahead and Opal, you're the trailblazer, yes?
Yes.
Okay, you already rolled. You got a or you don't need to roll, right? Because you just succeed as if you rolled a 10 plus, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And Kestrel, you go ahead and roll with a +1.
Okay.
And it's also wisdom, obviously.
That I maxed it out.
You're going to do really well. Okay, so Druzy, Quartermaster. Let's see. 7 to 9. Each roll performs the normal. Each roll performs their job as expected. The normal number of rations are consumed. The journey takes about as long as expected. No one gets the drop on you, but you don't get the drop on them either. So, yeah, it looks as though, yeah, so on a 10 plus Quartermaster reduces the number of rations by 1. In this case, it's just the number of rations that we assume it's going to take. It's going to be 1 because it's 1 day.
Okay.
Overall. So, that's the, so that's as far down as there is. So everyone is going to consume a ration over the course of this. The rest of you got 10 pluses. So on a 10 plus, the Trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination, and I will tell you how much. Good. Which is why I'm glad I established how long it takes before we did that. On a 10 plus, the Scout will spot any trouble quick enough to let you get the drop on it, which I think was probably the key thing here, because you're having to get past you're trying to skirt these nomad camps. So you are able, so Kestrel, you and Crocia are able to figure out where, when you get out there, where the nomads are and their various, their lines of travel. So you actually do make it without running into them. You do occasionally Crocia will point them out, and you'll see them at a distance, but they do not see you. And they're dressed in robes much like she is, and some of them are just sort of out there doing their thing. They're just kind of out hunting, gathering, or various things. Some of them seem to be heading kind of in the direction of the Sirocco, which is something that Crocia is a little concerned about. And she just sort of, at one point, and you can see the Sirocco. You folks make it to, as you're coming out sort of in this direction, you can see the Sirocco in the middle here. It's big enough that you can see it from miles away. This giant funnel of dust going up into the sky and this massive cloud around it.
Like the Adamantoids in Final Fantasy 15.
One day, perhaps, I will get that reference.
The Adamantoids is a massive turtle with a mountain on its back.
Yeah. I think I saw part of one of the early ones, and unfortunately never got a chance to look at the later ones. One day, perhaps, one day. But a plane is landing, apparently. But yeah, so you're gonna make it to the oasis. But Kestrel, you do notice that Crocia is kind of concerned about the whole thing. It's like, she sort of says something. She mutters something in the local tongue. So when you folks regroup, you've made it to the southern oasis, which is where you're going to take your break and consume your ration, that kind of thing. It's like I said, it's smaller, less fertile than the northern oasis, but it's it's more defensible a little bit in some ways. Well, 6 one, half a dozen another. Rocks, lots of rocks everywhere, and also bleached bones from the look of things. But yeah, it's part of the oasis is less safe to drink from. You actually have to drink from the western end and gather your water there, because the eastern end is apparently cursed. It's not good.
Of course it is.
Not good at all. Siroko's very active today. It's, looks, if you kind of look at it, you can kind of swear it looks... You folks saw it not too long ago. You can swear it looks like it's a little bit more to the left than it was before. Does anyone want to do anything else at the Oasis? Want to hang out and chat or anything, or is there anything you want to take care of?
Is there anyone else other than us there?
That's an excellent question. I think, in order to answer that question, I'm going to decide randomly if there is anyone else there. There are a bunch of tables here. I happen to have lit on the NPC table. I haven't actually fully had a chance to read through this book yet, but it looks neat. It's made by the same folks who did the 20 Dungeon Starters, which this setting is taken from. So you folks got there a little early. You actually make it to the Oasis in, so that's half of 2/3 of a, half of a 3/4 day is somewhere around, it's not quite half the day yet. So you got there in less than that. Just a few hours you make it to the Oasis. So
3/8 of a day.
Something like that, yeah. One day I will learn math. Hey, I just found the recruit move we should have used last time. Oh well. Let's discern realities, shall we? Let's have I believe, never mind, you were the one that asked that question, yes? Do a discern realities for me. 11. Ask of me 3 questions.
Okay. So, what happened here recently?
I'm going to roll some dice now. Actually, no, wait, the GM's not supposed to. Someone roll some dice for me.
What
roll
dice?
I would like someone to roll a d12 for me, please. Just in the chat. Okay.
Got an
thank
11
you.
for that.
Excellent. What the hell are they doing here? Okay, we'll figure that out. So, what here is... okay, I apologize. Anino, could you repeat the question, please?
So what happened here recently?
Okay, what happened here recently? There was a fight here recently, apparently. As you're coming around to the cursed end of the Oasis, you see there are what look to be folks that are they're dressed like soldiers, pretty much. Some of the same kind that the Bankers Guild uses in the town. So you know, ultimately mercs, but they have they're just sort of sitting and trying to rest after it looks like they've just gotten into a conflict with it looks like some of the nomads. There are a couple of nomads lying dead here.
Didn't even bother to clean them up? How dare they?
Well, you know, perhaps they've not had much time yet. Who knows? But And I still don't know if I answered your question appropriately. What was the question again? One more time. I'm sorry.
What happened here recently?
What happened here recently? I did answer. Okay, yeah, there was a fight.
Yeah.
Right. They fought.
So Bankers Guild mercs were here. They fought some nomads, and they apparently won.
Looks like it.
Okay. What here is not what it seems to be.
It looks as though from what you're able to tell, there were more nomads here. So it looks like there were maybe like half a dozen, and there are only like 2 lying dead on the ground. It looks like the rest of them got away. It looks kind of like, and one of them doesn't really have any weapons drawn. The other one does. But it looks like maybe the nomads were not intending to fight.
Interesting. Okay. And what should I be on the lookout for?
So, these fellows only really obey one thing, and that is that which glitters. So they're not. It's entirely possible. So it's these people are probably going to be approachable, but at the same time, you should be wary, because they clearly they clearly seem to view life as kind of cheap.
Huh. Okay.
They seem to have some kind of agenda out here, obviously, or they wouldn't be here.
Yes. I'm just kind of wondering how big of a social faux pas it would be to examine the dead bodies in closer detail.
Depends on the culture.
I am a cleric, so I could go over and give them last rites, and you could accompany me.
Sure, why not? I'll even play a song while we do it.
Okay, so you reveal yourselves to the mercenaries, and
Yeah.
I might also ask the mercenaries if they require any medical attention.
so the one that appears to be their leader, they're like 4 of them here, and they look up. He sort of nods to you, and they're just like, "Oh hell, what? Wait, no, don't lose the page, Jim. Hey, someone roll a couple more d12s for me, would you?"
6 on that one, and an 8 on that one. Need any more?
Nope, not right now.
I love that advanced die roller thing. That pop-out menu thing.
Okay, yeah, I think I'll take the 6 on the second on the last table and the 8 on the middle table, because that seems much more interesting than the other way around. All right. So he sort of steps forward and just seeing you about bows to you, and you can see that these are Bankers Guild folks. He does seem to show you Druzy in particular a great deal of respect, and he says, "Thank you. That would be most appreciated."
All right, so I will go ahead and tend to their wounds And I'll do that first before I inspect the bodies.
Sure. So they're appreciative of that. You basically go up in your bandage.
Kamiya protect you.
Thank you. And he's very. Their leader seems to be somewhat devout. We do not. It is must be divine providence that you came so quickly. We thought we were going to be lost in this place.
What happened here?
Our guides turned on us.
That is unfortunate.
And they're just sort of looking back, and one of them sort of is less injured than the rest. Is kind of looking with suspicion at Crocia as you're all sort of coming in. I don't know who's with Crocia right now. I'm assuming Kestrel still because of what you were just doing.
Yeah, I'm standing right by Crocia. So I actually, being who I am, I assume the look is for me.
She just sort of glances down at you, and just looks back at them. And she's the hint of a smile comes into the corner of her mouth, and she looks down. She's just like, just shakes her head. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, they're now kind of looking at her with suspicion, and they're looking at the rest of you, not sure what to make of you.
Meanwhile, the elf is not seen.
Eric is one with the desert.
He's up a tree. If there's any trees.
The one tree.
The one tree. Yeah, there aren't any trees here, but there are plenty of rocks, so you can use those.
So out of curiosity,
as well.
how do we know, or you mentioned that there's a cursed end of this oasis. How do we know?
Yeah.
How do we know it's cursed?
Oh, well, usually anything that drinks from it dies or transforms horribly. Usually both.
So is there any actual evidence of someone who drank of it?
Yeah, there are bones nearby, on the far end, that look like they're part human, part scorpion.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, and not in a good way.
I was gonna say, if we drink from like the middle of the.
Yeah, you're good from like the middle of the oasis to the to the west end.
Gotcha.
Because there's this sort of a they're like inlets and what have you. It's like it's multiple little pools. It's not like one big pool like the northern oasis is.
Also, Crocia may have warned us about it as well.
Yes, that's most likely what happened. Don't drink from the eastern end; you turn into something horrible.
So, sorry. In looking at those, like half transformed creatures and such, could I tell whether or not they're planar in nature, or are they, or does the origin lie elsewhere?
Given what you were told about this oasis, it looks like they were human and then stopped being completely human.
Okay. It's kind of weird that only a portion of the water is doing it.
It's the couple of pools on the eastern end, specifically. Yeah, then where it feeds into, apparently something happens where it's not affecting the rest of it.
Weird. Okay. Well, I am not terribly curious about that. I don't know if anyone else is, from a academic standpoint, at least.
Crocia could have tried to explain it to you if you ask her. But that's up to you.
I'm more concerned about the mercenaries right now.
Okay.
but I'll try to make myself a bit of a distraction by playing my music a little bit more loudly.
Excellent.
Maybe a rendition of "While My Mandolin Gently Weeps,"
Yes.
because I'm sure that's a hit for everybody else.
Yes, it's a rousing. It's a standard of the day right now.
It's appropriately solemn for the last rites.
And yeah, so no, they stop and let Druzy do the whatever ceremonying you want to do. Is there anything you'd like in particular to tell us about the ceremony?
I would say probably since we are somewhat pressed for time, I recite a prayer, hold their hands, close their eyes.
Do the short version.
Discreetly check and see if they have anything useful.
That's part of the ceremony, of course.
It is, you know. I'm sure that
Kestrel just came one step closer to converting. Nice
I
work.
know, right? You were holier than you thought. So, yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, it's good. It's good. Yeah, they've got. So they have scimitars. And they also. What else would they have? Anything interesting on them? Yeah, so kind of weird, a little bit, as you're sort of looking at the bodies over. They don't really have a lot in the way of stuff. They've got water, and they've got scimitars, and that's basically it. But they also have tattoos, and their tattoos are moving a little bit. You kind of notice on the chest, sort of shoulder. Right, there are two of them. There's a man and a woman, and they each have kind of a tattoo up here that is swirling around. It sort of looks like a kind of an offset pinwheel.
Does it seem like arcane in nature, or
Thoroughly.
I probably haven't seen anything like that before.
No, not specifically. Not as such. I don't know if. I don't know if. I would imagine that possibly some dwarves have tattooed runes that will do things. I think it's probably rare, but there is rune-based magic, I think, perhaps in your culture, and those will change color sometimes. Those will do things when they activate, flare up, what have you. Usually, though, because that's an invocation type magic, it would kind of be messed up if it moved around, and changed, because it would change what it says. So that's the closest thing probably you've ever seen to what this is.
All right. Well, perhaps I'll ask Crochet about it later, but not draw too much attention to it at the moment.
Gotcha. All right, so the ceremony comes to an end, and Crochet will suggest quietly that you cover their faces, but she's staying on the far end, opposite from where the soldiers are right now. And so that concludes, So one of the soldiers will come up to someone who is standing closest to the soldiers right now.
I would assume that it's either me or Druzy.
Okay, we'll say it's never mind for right now.
Oh,
great. And that one of the one of the the lead soldier will come up and sort of look and say, "Do you can you tell us where you're headed?"
Well, I'm going to finish my song first because no one interrupts Nevermind
That's
in the
fair.
middle of this song.
So he tries and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he stops.
We are making our way towards the Cave of Fire.
And they just sort of look at each other. That was also our destination. Could we perhaps accompany you?
What's your business at the Cave of Fires?
We have been asked to stand there and watch it. And then send back word should anything happen. I should point out at this point that one of them has a one of them actually, you notice, is putting on a glove. Rorik would actually have noticed that this creature is around, but a little bird flies down and lands on the glove. And you think that is probably the method by which they were going to send a message.
Seeing the bird, Rorik would hop down from his rock and walk over and call Aja, who was probably flying overhead.
Remind me what kind of bird Aja is again?
A hawk.
Are we gonna have a
Oh
Pokemon?
dear.
We're gonna have a Pokemon battle?
Bird fight.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's probably... Yeah. Quick question, Rorik. If you had noticed Aja chasing that other bird earlier, would you have done anything to stop it?
Hell no.
Okay, just checking.
Hey, if she's hungry, she's hungry.
It's just one of those things. So,
And he doesn't particularly care for banker mercenaries.
So this bedraggled little screech owl looking thing lands on this soldier's glove, and is like it's very much like just sort of back and forth, and it's just looking around. It looks around like 180 degrees, as owls do. It looks like it's actually been beaten up a little. It's gotten into some kind of a scuffle. The soldier with the owl just sort of eyes you a little bit when he sees you coming with your hawk.
Who's happily perched on his shoulder.
Yeah. So yes, they tell you. So yeah, that's basically we were told to go and stand watch, and then report back.
Really? Did anybody else hear this conversation?
You're asking the soldier this?
Oh, I'm asking the group this.
Oh yes. Is anyone else walked up and listening?
Because I kind of feel like I don't want to get ambushed by a group of soldiers while we're conducting our business at the caves of fire.
It's fair.
but I don't know how quite to I don't know, signal the rest that we should probably shank these guys.
You'll have no problem with the Rorik wanting to shank these guys.
I was about to ask how secretive was that conversation.
I would not have been whispering or talking like that at all. In fact, Nevermind is pretty animated in terms of how he speaks and makes his sentences.
I mean, I can be around. If you need someone to be like, hey, fuck y'all. I'm the guy.
He's good at that.
So I guess the question is, how discreet were the mercenaries being about this conversation?
Yeah, they weren't being very. They're not being very discreet about it.
Okay.
Do we believe them?
So I don't believe them because I don't really quite understand why they would, if they were being guided by these nomads to the Caves of Fire, why they would shank or kill these nomads.
Yeah. All they've said thus far about it is that their guides turned on them.
Yeah, but it doesn't really look like that because one of them didn't even draw a weapon. So,
Yeah, but we're not privy to that information, are we? That is the thing that, sorry, from looking around, I assume.
That's kind of a thing that you can. I think with sort of just you folks have been traveling together long enough, at least that probably Nevermind can easily non-verbally communicate those things to you when he sees them, just sort of like
Right. And it was fairly obvious that one of the mercenaries wasn't injured and the others were. Or was less injured.
Yeah, the one with the owl was the least injured of them. He was okay.
The beat up owl.
Yes, the now beat up owl.
Yeah, so Candlefang will look at them while they're making the proposal, and he scowls. I know how your kind work. You're gonna stab us in the back once we look away. If you want to make it to the Cave of Fire, make it on your own. At least give it a shot dying in the desert. That's what you deserve.
We have no reason to stab you in the back. You have the only guide. He says, gesturing to Crocia.
If you treated people with more respect, your guides would still be alive.
And they just sort of look from each other. It's like, they turned on us, I say. They tried to come and... their people tried to come and take them away. To do some damn fool thing by the Sirocco.
With that, I look towards Crocia. I look a question at her as if, is that a thing that might have happened?
Crocia is kind of grimacing a bit as she hears that. She's like, possibly. That's not good, though, if that's the case. Although, and she looks over at the Sirocco. I can see, yeah, though I can understand why.
I catch Nevermind's eye and give him the let's discuss this privately signal.
okay.
This will accomplish one of two things. It will either allow us to actually discuss it privately, or we will get us away from the horrible flames that are about to show up. So what are the other?
Yeah, win-win.
Yeah.
I must consult my muse before I make this practical decision, as is the way of the barge ship. He's totally serious about that too. You think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The soldiers just a couple of the ones in the back who were bandaged up a little bit, and they look at each other, and you hear one of them say, "This is a desert. How can they have a ship?"
So never mind. We'll start playing something along the lines of the Jeopardy theme on his mandolin. As he casually makes his way back to Crocia and Kestrel, and hopefully out of the line of fire.
Yeah, that too.
Something just, come right out.
I assume that it's like you've got like on one side you have the soldiers, and then on the other side you have Kestrel and Crocia and possibly Rorik, and then kind of Druzy and Candlefang sort of in between, with Candlefang just sort of looking at them, staring like
Candlefang's up. Rorik's up with Candlefang. It's like,
honestly,
I
I
don't
figure
trust these assholes.
I figure Rorik and Candlefang will keep their attention while we discuss this. So,
That's fair.
and Druzy too, if she is so inclined.
Do you want to, Druzy? Do you want to join the conversation, or do you want to stay with the in the line of Lyrers?
I will join the conversation, but I'm gonna keep a weather eye on those two because that's trouble a brewing.
Those are fresh wounds, aren't they? It'd be a shame if someone reopened them. Have they been cauterized yet? Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm a healer too. All right. So once we're all out of earshot of the soldiers, as quietly as possible, I will say, okay. I think these guys might be telling the truth about the guides, but I still don't want them to follow us.
Yeah, I believe this adventure is ours to tell. And I do not believe we need witnesses to our greatness.
We're not leaving till morning, right?
Wait, we're at the Oasis.
It's like mid-morning right now. You guys made wonderful time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How long are we going to be here? Actually, I asked Crocia, how long will we be here?
We can go as you've already drunk your fill and rested, so we can go as soon as you like.
Well, that's good. Okay, so if everyone's water skin is full, I may be able to take care of this without bloodshed. I reach inside my cloak and produce a small
Would be preferable. I might also have some influence since the leader seems to share my faith, so I may be able to talk.
Are we saying that we want them to join us in a compact or agree to this to travel with us, but have them drink and then just
We could ask them to wait and come back and get them when our business is done.
If we can get them to drink from the water after I put this in it, they'll be asleep and we won't have to worry about it. And that's not a euphemism, actually asleep.
I kind of like that, actually.
So keep them distracted while I mess with the pool and make sure no one fills their water skins after I do this. This is the important second step.
This isn't fatal, is it?
I mean, being asleep in the desert is dangerous, but this won't kill them.
Okay. I mean, so long as they have a fighting chance to survive.
Yeah, they got a shot at it.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough.
They're at the oasis. What's the worst that could happen?
They could be eaten by giant scorpions.
See, Croja gets it.
That's Darwinism for you.
They obviously know how to defend themselves
Precisely.
if they're awake.
We'll leave it to chance. Okay. I'm okay with that.
All right.
All right. So I can't wait to see what you do.
Well, I think it's time for another song in which I will I will suddenly be filled with the wisdom of my muse and start really jamming out on this mandolin.
Nice.
Maybe climbing up on top of some rocks as I unleash a solo of all solos.
Okay. So
And, while he's doing that, assuming that I get, the opportunity, I'm going to put an entire bottle of oil of Tygart in the pool.
all right. Remind me and also the viewers what oil of Tygart is.
Oil of Tygart must be ingested, and if it is successful, the target falls into a light sleep. So it's not even a deep sleep; it's a light sleep.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm going to need each of you to defy danger. Nevermind is doing it with charisma.
Okay. Am I doing that, or am I rolling poisoner?
I think. Well, you can roll poisoner.
Okay.
If you've got a move for this, then let me know. But,
I got an actual move.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Anytime I ask you folks to roll anything, if you have, in fact, your own move that might fit better, please let me know, and then
Will do. Okay.
So yeah.
I screwed it up. Damn it.
That's an experience point.
Yeah,
It is.
XP. So let me see.
There was more water in this pool than I thought.
Okay, so Druzy and Nevermind. Oh yeah. They do an excellent job of distracting these soldiers.
For all the good it does me.
They are fully distracted.
Oh well.
On a
Is
6.
it explicitly a charisma, or can we use another attribute for that?
Well, I mean, it's the soldiers are distracted, so there's no need to worry about that. That was just Druzy and Nevermind were kind of taking care of that. Kestrel, let's see. All right. So you, Kestrel, you drop the bottle for a second. As it's kind of open, and you scramble and you pick it up.
Yeah.
So, there's still enough in there, you think, when you pour it in. How long does oil of Tygart take to sleep, do you think? Take to work?
Normally 10 to 15 minutes.
Gotcha, okay.
It's not instant.
Well, it's like Benadryl.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's just diphenhydramine,
So you start getting a little loopy, and yeah.
Yeah. And then your sinuses clear up.
Yeah, awesome. I know this. I know oil of Tygart well. Good then. So, You complete this task, and you kind of never mind. You kind of see when Kestrel is finished. Sort of as you're coming around, you're doing your power ballad, and you're looking around, and you can kind of see that Kestrel is sort of backed away and gives you the high sign.
So my song's going to reach this crescendo and maybe charm them into thinking that they are thirsty by him.
Yeah, that totally
Lyrics about drink it all in, take it all in.
Yeah, that you see them all just sort of looking at the pool. They can't seem to by the end of this song, they're all just sort of like really would like a drink right now.
I mean, my display was,
Was fantastic.
it was.
It was so good. It's possible I forgot to put all the poison in the pool. I was paying
It
attention
was
to
really good.
So with that, I will lay down my mandolin and sip out of my water skin.
Awesome. Yeah.
But I'll do it all sexy like.
Yeah.
I
will say, pretty much everyone here is kind of thirsty now because of this performance. So I assume everyone drinks a little bit from their water skins.
Rourke takes a few quick sips.
Yeah. And they'll eventually they come and they say it's very nice, but and as they're going and they're starting to drink and they say, have you decided if we can come with you? We merely wish to stand guard and then do as we were instructed.
Well, by all means, refill your water skins, as I gesture to the poisoned well, or poison pool, and rehydrate yourselves for this long and perilous journey.
They do this thing.
Drink up. It's a long walk.
They're drinking.
Yeah.
All right, and then so they drink, they start gathering their gear and getting ready.
Okay.
And they're ready to head out behind you.
So maybe it's time I should just start playing a little bit of a lullaby kind of song just to set the mood for them.
All right.
Yeah. I think we just need to chill out for a little bit.
As you're starting to head out slowly to this lullaby, the last one just sort of like falls to his knees and falls over and onto his face, and the other three are like, what's happening? And then the lead one just sort of turns and looks at Druzy with this pleading look on his face as he goes down. Kestrel, you are also feeling a bit loopy now, as you realize that perhaps you got some on your hands, and then you drank from your water skin.
Yep.
So you're not doing too great right now.
Like, hey, those guys fell over. That seems like a good idea. I could use a nap too. And here's the problem. I was up front right beside Croja, and I'm just getting slower and slower, and people are passing me. Worst scout ever.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pick him up because my strength pretty bad.
In complete contrast to the guard falling and Druzy kind of feeling a little bit of compassion for them, Kendall's I will just say, good riddance. And right, let's get out of here.
All right. So
I'll be up in a minute.
Narrators. He did not get up.
Man,
exactly.
deserts are exhausting.
Yeah. I'm going to say you didn't take enough to pass completely out, but you really want to lie down right now.
I'm just...
That sand looks so
Fireman
nice
carry.
and soft.
I could just make a pillow out of the sand and maybe a blanket out of the sand. Yeah, this is nice.
Maybe we should just drag him along.
He wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
I had the weirdest dream.
I know.
I mean, we can kind of use him to sort of mask our tracks anyway. If we just drag him behind our
Put
foot.
him on your cloak and we'll just
Oh
go.
my god.
That's perfect.
Clearly it was a desert worm that came through here.
Exactly. The halfling's stealthy, right? We could use him to hide our...
Yeah, that's how halflings
You
work,
can
right?
use Aja to keep him awake by massaging her claws into his scalp.
Ow. Ow.
We can totally do that.
Ow. 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 Yeah.
I will say on the way over. So, Aja kind of perches and does keep you awake duty. But every now and then on the rest of this trip, which only takes an hour or two to make it to the cave, she does sort of turn her head and then go up and fly off for a minute, and then come back. She does that 3 times. And you folks make it, finally, on this little journey to the entrance to the Cave of Fire. Now, I would like each of you, he says, returning to prompt mode. You have all by now heard rumors, especially in the town recently and having met some of the cultists, about the Cave of Fire. So, I would like each of you to tell me one thing that thus far has not yet been spoken on the stream that you have heard about the Cave of Fire. And this time I'm going to start. Well, I'm just going to go right now. Actually, no, I'll roll. I've been rolling. I'll roll to see who I start with. And I'm going to go left to right in the order that I currently see you on the screen, which is in a slightly different order from what we had before, because we're looking at the map.
Because we now have a proper map overlay.
Okay. So, Anino, guess who wins?
Candle thing, of course, right?
Almost.
Oh.
Nevermind would be the first here. So tell me a thing that Nevermind has heard about the Cave of Fire.
It's only a model. It's not really a Cave of Fire, just the model of it.
It's a
It
fake,
is a silly place.
it's a fake, a model cave. It's not real. It's a
No,
prop.
seriously,
No? Okay.
no. It is home to. It is said to be home to imps, fire imps.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Which I guess makes sense, given that we were attacked by a bunch of
Yeah.
fire.
Totally
So-
does. All right. Brian, what's something Kestrel has heard recently about the Cave of Fire, aside from, his visit there?
Right, yeah. Besides...
Although, actually, if you want to use something from your visit that we haven't heard yet, you can do that too.
Right, because the thing that attracted him there in the first place was that it is full of treasures that man cannot imagine. And then the thing that he learned when he was asking around town is that the fire outside protects a heart of ice.
Interesting.
He's hoping that means big diamond, but he's afraid it's not.
You never know. Opal, what's something Rorik has heard about the Cave of Fire?
No one has survived the third and final trial.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
And I have a feeling that's going to come back and bite me in the ass.
There's a chance. Alyssa, what's something Druzy has heard about the Cave of Fire?
It may contain veins of valuable ore or minerals of some kind.
Ah. Excellent. Finally, Dragon, what's something Candlefang's heard about the Cave of Fire?
Generations and generations ago, it used to be one of the places of worship for the salamander folk until it was overtaken by a different power.
That actually makes sense for something that you will see later. Okay. Right then. Let us see here. I think so. Yeah, what you will see as you are heading toward, you see this bright flame on the horizon as you get closer, and then the closer you get, you see that it appears as though the cave itself is on fire. But that's just how it looks. I mean, it is, but it's burning in a way that rock should not burn. Kestrel, this is consistent with the way that it looked last time you were there. It's really just the outside that, well, I mean, there's probably fire inside too, but that's a thing that it does look like. Because it's like it's a cave in it's a cave mouth. There's this ridge, right, that it's built into, sort of higher ground, sort of not quite a mesa type thing, but just a shelf, a step, if you will. And it's the top of the step is wreathed with flame, and that's kind of how you know where the Cave of Fire is. It's that big neon sign. And as you approach, you see, standing in front of the cave, or at its entrance, you see what looked like another fire at the entrance. And this, you see, it is, in fact, fire in the shape of a person. This is a fire elemental who stands about, I want to say, 10 feet tall, with a broad shoulders, large scimitar, fiery beard, glowing white eyes, and just stands at attention.
I think you've got this, Kestrel.
Here to proctor the exam.
Yeah. This guy and I are old friends. Guess I'll walk up to him.
As you approach, he glares down, takes the scimitar, points it at you, says, "You," with a voice that I can't quite do because it sounds like the crackling of fire to a certain extent, but it's still intelligible. "You are here to complete our duel?"
I'm here to complete the trial.
They are one and the same. Will these others remain outside, or are
in
they
that case,
to...
yes.
Will these others remain outside?
That's up to them.
Who... And he waits for a second.
I'm sorry, but I'm a lover, not a fighter. And I will stand off to the side dutifully as I pick up my mandolin and start to play. But I'm sure Kestrel is ready for his challenge. In
All
fact,
those who wish enter must face me.
Yeah, Kendallfang steps up.
So does Rourke.
Point of contention, are we talking about like actual combat? Or are we talking about maybe rock, paper, scissors? Because you can duel in rock, paper, scissors.
Do you say
I
this
love the
to...
band.
Are you saying that or no?
I'll say that, just
Okay.
figured we'd clarify before we just go down.
He turns and just sort of looks in your direction. And he pauses for a moment. Most choose to fight, but other contests are not forbidden. But we must make certain that all who enter complete the trial. And he just sort of looks and he bears down and just sort of his eyes sort of looking at his blade. And he as he's looking, says, who is fighting?
Kendallfang takes another step forward.
Whoa. Do we all have to fight, or could we all contest in a different manner?
Those who will fight, I would have do it all at once. Those who find other means may do that separately.
I take a step forward and then a step to the side, so I'm behind Candlefang.
I shall fight as well.
I propose a sing-off.
He looks over the three of you who have stepped forward. And,
I take a defensive position in front of Rorik, and I say, I shall protect everything behind me.
Damn. Nice.
we shall see then who is to survive this. And I think that's where we're going to go to a break. We shall
checks out.
return in about 5-10 minutes. And we shall have our little trial. See you shortly. we have returned, and everything is on fire. Absolutely everything. Because, you know, that's this cave's motif. So, that being the case, this fire elemental is standing and pointing at four of you with his scimitar. And so I'm going to ask once again, as I will go from person to person capriciously, as I do. Who wants to do something?
Well, I want to do something, but I have to wait for someone else to do something first.
Are we just gonna fight here? Or is it like, hey, come inside? That's fine.
So, I mean, if you want to fight in the shade, I suppose, it's...
But like, I was assuming that we were gonna fight in like inside the cavern. But if he just wants to go here,
I mean, he's like...
ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like he kind of is waiting for a second, and then he'll sort of, when you're not doing anything, he starts sort of backing up into the cave.
Okay, so before anyone else moves, Nevermind is going to start playing his mandolin pretty loudly. He's going to start thrashing it, partly in order to get the blood flowing for his comrades who are going to be doing all of the fighting. But he's going to make come hither eyes at the fire elemental.
Excellent.
Maybe motion candle thing to add some fire to his performance. As he plays Party Man, the hit song from Batman.
From
Yeah. Batman. Yeah.
Metallica did cover When Doves Cry, just saying.
Yeah, totally.
This is good to know. This is good to know. Okay, so that being the case, if that's what you're doing, this is interesting. So, do you have any a seduction move or anything like that, or shall we go to the regular moves here? Because I want you to make some kind of move here. Because you're making a move, we may as well make a move.
Yeah, no, we should make a move.
All right. I feel like this is defying danger with charisma.
I mean, you know, I like to live dangerously.
That could be an aid roll. From
You want to aid?
Yeah.
In what way are you aiding?
By
Never mind. In what way are you wingmanning? Never mind.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Wings of fire!
I think he's adding to my performance. That's
Special effects.
yeah.
Kind of romantic fiery bits in the air.
Sure. I mean, whatever floats fire elementals proverbial boats.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Yeah, that's the sort of special effects and what have you. So Candlefang will roll plus bond. Whatever your bond with Nevermind is.
0.
All right. 2d12.
All right.
Which actually, I think you actually do that after Nevermind rolls. I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see if it's needed.
Yeah.
All right. So that's an 8. So you can still affect that. You could give him a +1.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't really.
So.
You know what? But let's do that. Hey, I failed.
Okay.
Oh crap! Am I gonna get lit on fire again?
I think so.
So here's the deal.
I mean, it's gonna add to my
Sorry,
performance.
y'all.
So.
Well, here's what happens. Oh, man. See, the thing about being a pyromaniac is that it's the people around you who suffer. So, as you've stepped into the cave to do this, and you're in this sort of very circular room that's been carved out here. There are actually so some of the walls are kind of glowing with a sort of a phosphorescent thing, which there's not enough time to pay attention to right now, but I'll give you more details in after this encounter. So, never mind, I'm going to give you a choice. Either you catch on fire, or the mandolin catches on fire as you are playing.
I'm sorry, first.
I don't have another instrument, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to choose myself.
Excellent. Roll a d4 for me, would you?
Sure.
You know it's bad when the GM is getting you to roll your damage.
Well, that's it's Dungeon World. I don't have to. All the players roll their own damage here.
I know there's some Dungeons and Dragons GMs who
That's
make the players roll their own damage.
You make them roll their own damage? What the hell? So yes, that's 4 damage minus any armor you have.
That would be 0. So 4 damage.
Excellent. So that would be 4 damage then.
I have an armor of 1.
So at the height of your performance, you burst into flames. And this does distract the that does somewhat distract the elemental.
Now that is dedication.
So, yeah, he kind of just will kind of just sort of is looking at it the whole time, and is slowly walking toward. Never mind. While this is happening.
Does the fire is the fire like a menace to Nevermind?
Yes, it's fire.
Can I it doesn't like extinguish quickly or anything, right?
Well, as long as there is fuel to burn it, like clothing and stuff, then that will probably, if he doesn't like stop, drop, and roll, then he probably may have some things to worry about in a minute.
He may have a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Or enhancement. I mean,
right now it is working as an enhancement.
I mean, damn.
Want to stop, drop, and roll, or can I attempt to help?
Yeah, you can attempt to help him.
So Nevermind is like really committed to his song at the moment. Because he is trying to provide a distraction in which would keep the fire elemental from noticing, 3 or 4 adventurers attacking him from his flanks.
Yeah. His flank is exposed right now because he's like completely entranced by Nevermind right now.
Yeah, this seems like my opportunity.
All right, take an opportunity, why don't you?
So, you know that thing where Nevermind will do something and then either wittingly or unwittingly just happens to set up an opportunity for his little halfling buddy?
How strange!
That's where we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I seem to remember hearing about that.
Okay. I get to choose one on my backstab.
Yes. Tell us. What are you choosing on your backstab?
In this particular case, I'm going to deal my damage plus 1d6. I'm just going to try to hamstring him.
All right.
Do they have hamstrings? Let's find out. Baked hamstrings
made of fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Fiery hamstrings.
Hang on, let me get my character sheet back. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. Come on. Here we are. All right. So, D8 plus 1d6. Got it. All right. One moment.
Yes.
All right. And a d6 on top of that, so hang tight. Okay,
Ooh,
11.
that's good. That's really good. So
that was with my rapier.
Have you done anything special to this rapier to make it particularly useful against fire elementals?
Alas, no.
Okay.
The only cool stuff I have is my sleep poison.
Okay. No, that's fine. Give me just a moment to pull up said fire elemental in here, because I keep forgetting we have them in here. There's a Dungeon World compendium in Roll20, and so I just have to pull it up. And here we go. And let me pop that out so that I can keep it here. All right. So this thing has quite a lot of armor. So it's armor, but you manage to just sort of kind of hit sort of to the core of it, which you think was the last time you fought this guy. Was kind of, is needing to keep him together. So it's really a question of dispersal when something's made out of other things, right?
Gotcha.
So you're able to take the rapier, and what does your maneuver look like?
Yeah, I did learn a little bit from my attempt to, or actually, I was forced to fight fair last time, and so I was like, well, that didn't work. So yeah, it's actually just a whole bunch of wild slashing in the same area, which achieves our dispersal effect.
Okay, so he's like, as he. Never mind. You see him kind of coming closer to you, and he's just sort of very moved. You see a fiery tear trailing down from the corner of his eye, and then suddenly there's a hole in his middle.
Woo!
As you and through which you can see, as I'm imagining you're a little higher up, you've found a promontory, and you can see Kestrel down there messing him up. That's. So at this point he's like, and he's a little surprised, but has been attacked. And he's getting ready to round on Kestrel. Let's move over to. Let me move over to Rorik. What's Rorik doing?
Rourke will be doing a called shot to the creature's head.
Okay.
So
And
there's that.
all right. And let's see. Roll plus Dex. And I see the effects there. I do not see the 7 to 10 on it. So let us look that up, shall we? Ranger. I have it here.
And
Called shot. 7 to 9 is.
I clicked two things by mistake, sorry.
You do nothing but stand and drool for a few moments. So you don't actually do your damage. But you do manage to get him in the head. With what weapon are you using?
that would be my bow.
Okay, yeah, no, stands there and drools for a minute. So it's like, as this bow just sort of you see again. Never mind. You see this arrow pass through his forehead and out it, as you see that he begins this white fiery substance pours from his eyes and out of the sides of his mouth. For a moment, he's very disoriented and is losing his shape somewhat. He's looking a lot more like just a bunch of fire in the position of a human, or 10-foot tall humanoid creature. Let us move to Druzy. Druzy, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna continue to defend Rorik in case it comes this way.
All right. So you're just standing in front of Rorik, or somewhat in front of Rorik. I assume Rorik is shooting kind of over your head or over your shoulder.
I'm short, so.
It's fair.
I'm an Elven Ranger. I'm kind of tall.
So you're holding, and let me know if at any point you want to leap in and interrupt whatever folks are doing. I'm going to wrap back around to Nevermind.
So I'm going to take this time to extinguish my flames by rolling on the ground.
Okay. Yes, you made this wonderful number.
But I want to make sure that I'm still playing my mandolin as I'm doing this.
Oh, wow, okay. That's going to be a little tricky.
It is. Because I'm going to try to weave this into an arcane art to boost Kestrel.
Nice.
Okay.
Because,
Lots of things happening at once. So yeah, let's see what you've got. An arcane art move, yes?
I do.
Okay, let's see what happens. Oh dear. Okay, so
That's an experience point.
you get XP, and so you've got a got a choice here. And which one were you going for? Which one of those? You were going for like the +2 instead of a +1 next time someone assists them, or what were you going for? Or for damage, or?
I was going to say for damage.
For damage? Okay. So you can. So I'm going to give you a choice now. You may either bestow this effect or continue burning.
I'm sorry. So I can bestow this.
Sorry,
effect
let me pull back. You may either. I used the wrong word because I am old and occasionally brain damaged. You can either bestow this effect or stop burning.
Okay. How much damage would I suffer if I?
I would have you roll another d4.
Okay, so I'm at how many hit points am I at now?
You're top -4, I would assume.
Yeah. So I'm at 11. Let's do it. So I will bestow the effect. And,
Okay.
I will. I was so inspired by Kestrel's devastating blow that I could not help but break out into an inspired song.
So, what is the?
The song is "His name is Kestrel, and he is funky."
So it's like the notes of this song "Whip Around Your Blade," Kestrel,
Whoa,
and
this is
imbue it
awesome.
with a mystical quality. As Nevermind continues burning in the background.
I mean, I hope that someone would notice and heal, but
you never know.
just
Hey,
just throwing that out
folks.
there, guys.
Hey, folks. Nevermind's on fire. Just wanted to mention that in case anyone missed it. Candlefang, what's up?
I want to bend the flames off of Nevermind.
Certainly, absolutely.
So I want to use Zuko style to do that. And here's hoping that, hey, there you go.
Okay. So you can do it for a moment. So this means you have to specify where you are sending this fire. You cannot consume it for yourself. It's got to go somewhere else in the room.
I mean, the easiest thing is to just send it to myself. Does this count as a magical fire?
So yeah, this is magical. It's your fire. Yes, it's
my
magical
fire. Okay. I listen. I'm just.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm sorry. Yeah, no,
I'm
it's your fire.
just, measuring the room. So yeah, I transfer it to myself, and I'm assuming I take damage.
Well, how do you do against fire? Do salamanders have anything special?
I have protection against non-magical.
Ah, yes. So that is the one slight difficulty. That's I go ahead and roll a d4 -1 since you
All right.
see it's coming.
All right, let's go. -1 d4. Bam.
All right, so you take 3 minus armor.
All right. I have a thing actually. Whenever I get damaged in general, which is fighting fire with fire. So I'll roll a d4 and see what happens. Cool. I'm gonna reduce damage by 3.
There you go. So you pulled it back to yourself and you dealt with it. Excellent. Okay. So fire comes funneling back to Candlefang. Never mind, you are no longer on fire. Candlefang is briefly on fire and then seems to cause it to just go out. So, Kestrel, what you doing?
Let's see.
Sitting in awe.
At
Okay.
this point, I think the element of surprise is gone. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that.
I don't know why you'd think that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking. Okay, so my question is, no, never mind. I'm close enough to him. I think I just need to continue with the hack and slash.
Okay.
So I'll just do that.
You can totally do that if you so desire. That is a good roll.
I got it. That was a pretty good roll.
So you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. At your option, you may do an extra d6.
Oh, man.
He also gets the extra D4 damage.
That's right. You do get an
That's a
extra
good
d4
point.
damage.
I'm just going to do my damage plus the d4 and otherwise play to type and try not to get hit. Which is good because I rolled a 1. That's awesome. So now we do the d4.
So many points of damage.
Oh, that sucked. Okay. Oh, well.
So
I should have done the extra damage.
yeah. Yeah. That's okay,
right.
though. As you're sort of whipping through, you can see that it's the part of the elemental you're hitting is basically it's not quite solid enough to have a core exactly right now. It sort of does, and so
Right.
you're kind of having an issue.
Like literally fighting a bonfire at this point.
It is kind
Yeah.
of, yeah. It's a little tricky.
And I'm missing all the logs. So
Exactly.
got it. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Down to
There's
Rorik.
also
What's
a
happening?
hole in its forehead.
That's right.
Right.
It's a little distracted. What's Rorik doing though?
I am going to try another called shot for its head.
Okay. All right, you're great at these apparently. So you deal your damage plus it is also having, it's starting to turn toward you, but it's moving very slowly and haphazardly. It's sort of jerking back and forth as it does so. And deal your damage.
That would be volley.
Whoa. Okay, that's many damages.
And here's my dex.
Oh,
It's supposed to be a +2 to that.
let me just take a look here.
Roll plus dex. That's supposed to be a +2.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay, I gotcha.
It did add the +2 when you clicked on Dex.
Yeah, I see it. It did add the
Yeah,
+2. Okay, so that was a total of 12. He's taken effectively. Hang on.
Oh.
Jim does math. All right. So.
There's
again,
now another hole in it.
as it's coming toward you, It's reaching toward you. And this is, in fact, where you're going to take it down, so if you wish, you may describe that.
As Rourke looses his arrow and pegs it through the center of its head just disappears.
The thing
Like you
completely
see in most
disperses.
animes.
Yeah, it completely disperses. And it seems to split into 4 separate flames that funnel off into corners of the room and out through these vents in the floor. Or near the floor, the base of the walls. You have... And at the far end of the chamber, a doorway opens. That did not appear to be there previously. You have completed the first challenge.
Candlefang stretches out his hand towards Nevermind down on the floor and says,
I'm sorry about the fire.
If there was ever a performance that I had to go out on, it would be that.
I'm glad.
And I will shake off the remnants of my, charred clothes and primp myself as best as I can, given the circumstances, and make sure my mandolin is okay. As I look around the room and just try to catch my breath after burning for so long.
Yes, there was much flame. This room is still glowing, kind of almost. It seems phosphorescently. And now that you have a moment, it's actually there's some kind of, and Druzy will notice this also. There's in particular, there's this vein of shining mineral in the wall that seems to be doing it.
Do I know what kind of mineral this is?
I think you have probably. Yeah, I think you probably have. You have some suspicions. You think that it's a rare one. It's one that you've only heard about. It's not like a. This is not on the level of a thing like, say, mithril or that sort of thing. But it's. In that it's more, it's not so much extra protective when forged into armor or anything like that, but it is, it does provide light, which is unusual. It is an inherently mystical sort of type of metal that you've heard about, but not really. I don't think you've seen before. And if you wish, you may name this mineral. Otherwise, we will come up with something. But
I'm not coming up with anything off the top of my head.
From what you understand, it also that this mineral does show up usually in. Well, I mean, it requires, in order to come to the surface, it requires a lot of heat. So you do think that there's and also pressure. There are probably a lot of other minerals and possibly precious stones in this hunk of rock. This whole cave probably. There is also a slight red glow coming from the doorway that is just opened.
Okay. Well, before we go any farther, I would like to heal Nevermind.
Okay.
So I will do a cure light wound.
All right.
And we have found a fluorescent rock.
Okay, so you choose one of those three things.
I guess I will take the first one.
All right.
I'll draw the aggro.
Excellent. What does the we'll make a note of that and come back to you shortly with respect to that. As it's going though, how much do you heal? What is that? How is it doing?
Four points.
All right. What does this look like?
So I will go over there and I sort of chime my holy symbol and my mace, and then I place the sort of resonating holy symbol against Nevermind's chest, and the burns begin to heal.
Excellent. All right. So, Nevermind is feeling a little bit better. What's everyone else doing?
One of the doors is glowing, you say?
Well, yes, there's a door that has just opened that leads deeper into the cave, and there is a red glow coming from down that way.
Okay, I'm looking around, but also walking slowly towards the door.
Okay. So yeah, as you're sort of keeping an eye out for trouble, I have a question for everyone. This is a kind of important question, kind of. Did you leave Crochet outside?
Oh.
Crochet probably did not want to come in because she does not want to do the trials.
Yeah, I personally would not have tried to, make her come in. Honestly, she's pretty much done her job.
It's fair. I mean,
So someone should tell her that we're okay. And
I'll poke my head out and let her know that we've survived stage 1. Maybe ask if she's willing to keep watch.
yeah. And actually, have you would have arranged this already? All right. Do you want to keep her with you? Well, no. I mean, but do you want to? As the thing I'm thinking, was it like she just takes you to the cave and that's it, or did you want to make sure she takes you back after you're done with the cave and the city?
she was supposed to take us to the City of Pillars
Yeah.
afterwards, right?
Oh, right.
Okay. So, I mean, she's going to do her job, whatever it is you've hired her to do. But, also, you know, there's the whole getting paid thing. Yeah, so she's waiting.
She gets a cut of the treasure that we find in the City of the Pillars.
If that's the deal you wanted to make, she'd have jumped at that probably. You think she found it most important just that you get to the city and do something. So, deeper into the cave. As you go deeper into the cave, you see there's an area that has this path that moves out. I'm on fire. There's this path that moves out, and as it comes out from under this arch, you see that it opens up into... It's getting very hot. It opens up into an area where there is... You see this sort of this river of lava. It's just... Well, river is a bit too strong of a word. Maybe more like... pond... Stream. Stream, that's the word I was looking for. So it's not moving fast. Because, among other things, it's lava. And there is what looks like used to be a bridge. And there are... so there's like the start of a bridge, and then it crumbles away. And... there are... And actually, it doesn't crumble away. You think that that's what it looks like at first. It's like you got two ends of a bridge, right? But you don't have the middle. So, on either side, you have these bridges. It comes up, and then it looks like actually there's something else going on with the way that the ends that you thought were crumbling away are set up, because they look a little more square than you would expect. Like they were kind of deliberately built that way to only be part of a bridge. And that's what you're getting in here. Also in here, this side of the stream, there are you do hear a bit of scampering and like sort of off to the sides.
Is the bridge a wooden hang bridge? Or what's the nature of the bridge?
Bridge is made... The bits of the bridge that are there are made of stone.
Okay.
Actually, it looks kind of obsidian-y.
Okay.
Do I suspect I could leap across that gap?
The gap is big.
Gotcha.
So, probably not. Not just leaping. You'd have to probably do something else to get across.
Fair enough. Okay. Should have gone for the thief acrobat build. Let's see.
So yeah, Kettlefang looks at the lava, or I don't know, magma. I don't care.
If it hasn't erupted yet, it is called magma.
There you go. I forgot the distinction.
Magma. The floor is made of magma.
And then looks at the party. And then at the bridge, the back of the party. And he says,
Does anyone know how to fly?
I pull the blue feather out of my cloak. Whatever this thing came from, you how?
Rourke just points to Aja. Like,
I don't think that any of those two things can carry us across.
I stole this off one of the cultists, though. He had it for a reason. I don't know if it was this reason.
are there any like pebbles or things around?
So you're looking more around. Yeah, there are some pebbles. There's some little rocks. You do also notice there is movement, again, off to the sides. It's sort of hard to see, but you think that there are fire imps down here, just sort of moving around, doing things. You can't really make out yet what they're doing because they're semi-transparent. But they're there are a bunch of them you think scrambled around one of the banks of this stream further down. But yes, nearby, plenty of little rocks and pebbles and things you can pick up.
So, I want to grab a pebble and throw it at the space in between the two ends of the bridge.
Yeah.
See what happens then.
So you're doing that. You actually notice, yeah, that some of the rocks down here are actually shinier than the others. So it's like they're left off maybe some. There may be precious gems around here or some such thing, which is weird if they're just sort of lying here. You'd have to dig to try to sort of to dig through them to sort of figure out which ones are which. But you grab a rock, which is just a rock, and you hurl it at the center of the bridge, and in that space, and something kind of weird happens. In that this sort of little geyser of flame, this gout of flame, comes up from under the bridge area, and reaches up for a second to meet it, and then when it goes through, it comes back down again.
Oh, that's one hell of a bidet.
So it reaches up and under it. Yeah, it is. Heck of one, yeah.
I think it's time
Does it,
to...
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Can I do a discern realities check?
Certainly. Excellent. And remember, you get +1 forward when acting on the answers to the questions you're about to ask me.
Okay. So, so far we've talked about the bridge. We noticed that there's some fire imps around there. What here is useful or valuable to me?
What does Nevermind want?
Way to cross the damn bridge.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wanted I wanted to make sure. There's something about what happened when he threw that rock that makes it seem as though there is some way to get across. There's something different about the way the fire behaves, or something different about what happens in that area. So it seems like there is probably a way to get from one side to the other, doing something with the bridge.
Okay. Okay. Investigating the bridge a little more closely, what is here? What here does not seem to be what it appears to be?
Are you kind of going up to it and
yeah.
So, it does look as though that each end of the bridge was sculpted a certain way. It looks as though there are, if you sort of climb up it a little bit, you see that there are kind of like symbols that are carved into the just on the floor at the far edge where the drop happens. And so it looks like it definitely was made so it's not it wasn't necessarily it's a deliberate drop. It was built this way, and someone enchanted it in some fashion to make it do something. So it's not just two hunks of stone. It's actually some kind of mechanism. an arcane mechanism, certainly. The other thing, and I'll give you this also. Well, actually, yeah, you're more looking at the bridge specifically, but the other thing you're kind of noticing is that the fire imps, of course, don't need to use the bridge. Some of them are going back and forth across, just skipping along the lava. They're kind of, and the rest of them looks like they're fishing. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
Okay. I guess what should I be on the lookout for?
So I think that the thing you should probably be on the lookout for here is something that you get a feeling that there may be that some trial and error might be about to happen. So you should probably watch to see if there's like either a particular sequence or a particular way in which these markings get interacted with that indicates how they work.
Okay.
And actually, I'll also give you this if you so desire. There may be an opportunity in this cave at some point to spout lore.
Okay. Are there any bigger pieces of rock that we can maneuver?
Many.
Many? Wondering if we could, if we move the like a more sizable piece of rock over, the fire could maybe melt or fuse a number of pieces of rock together into a pathway that would both shield us from the fire and help us cross.
You can certainly give that a shot.
Well, I don't lift, so
No, of course not.
I'm just saying.
How silly. No.
I am going to all right. Well, anyone want to try moving person-sized rock over the edge and see what happens?
I think I could probably manage that. But can I take a look at those symbols first? And since I know a little bit about rock and mining and whatnot, can I see if those are familiar to me at all?
Certainly. Do you have a particular move in mind you're looking at, or shall I put one here?
I was thinking maybe spout lore might be relevant.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you want me to do that? Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, well,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Druzy can, but
Oh,
so first off, I need you to. Okay, first off, Druzy, you get an XP. And tell me what is coming to mind about this bridge.
I feel like it might be some kind of puzzle. And gemstones or other shiny rocks were mentioned, so maybe those are connected somehow.
Yeah. In the some of your ancestors built things that were not exactly like this, but that had sort of that similar idea to them. So that seems to make sense. So never mind. Of course, succeeded on the spouting of lore roll. So I need to tell him something both interesting and useful. So Druzy is sort of musing about the possibility of it being a puzzle, about there being greater rocks, and as you sort of are piecing this together, you realize that it's kind of strange because last you'd heard from you'd sort of talked to a group of wizards about this at one time. The way this is set up, it shouldn't necessarily be possible, but you guess in a place like this, the rules might be different, or they've just got an infinite power source of some kind. But there is an even chance that this could be a sort of a force bridge, except instead of just sheer magical force, it's kind of like the force of the heat and the lava and the magma can come up and hold things in place between the ends of the bridge. So the whole rock moving thing is a thing that might work. It's probably a good idea to be standing on the right runes when you do it. Well, the right symbols when you do it. These are not runic symbols per se, but they are arcane symbols. And so that's really the only weird thing, is that there's probably like an on and off type thing. So it's just a question of standing in the right place.
So how big are these runes exactly?
If you can imagine that you've got that they'd have the infrastructure to carve this out of a single piece of rock, which it is. But if you know about the size of a flagstone, if this were made of flagstones, then they're each about that wide in width, about a hand's breadth, a little less than a hand's breadth each.
So are these like on the floor to step on, or
Yes,
are these...
yes, they are.
Okay.
There's a row of them. There are 5, each one about a hand's breadth.
So there are about 5 different runes on these?
If I'm thinking about how wide is a bridge. Yeah, this is a one-person bridge. It's a little bigger than one person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about evenly spaced across.
Sorry. So are the runes like arranged so that they're going parallel with the bridge, or do they sort of go across the bridge like a sort of like finish line or start
finish line? Yeah, finish starter line type deal.
Okay. Okay, I'll step on the middle one and see if anything happens.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Defy danger with intelligence, please.
well. Intelligence.
You get XP. Congratulations. In addition, some flame licks up in front of you. And roll a D2 for me, if you would. So you get a little singed as it comes up, and the one in the middle glows. You know it's not the one in the middle.
Of course not. It isn't.
Kestrel makes a mental note.
So does Rourke.
You have learned, however, that you think you probably are good. It's just like one of them. There's one you need to step on.
Okay. as I am busy putting my hair out again. So I think I'm going to give someone else. I'm going to let someone else give this a go for a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk ahead.
Yeah, that checks out.
Let the one who is pretty much fireproof.
Yeah, the salamander's like, I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Just fire.
I can handle this.
And yeah, just carelessly step on both of the runes.
Okay, so there are like, there's one in the middle that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to step on? You have,
The one on the right.
Okay, the far right or the...
Oh, he's stepping on two of them.
Oh, two of them simultaneously?
Well, no, not simultaneously, like one by one, right?
Okay, all right. So you're going to start on the right and kind of work your way
Yeah.
to the left? Okay. Go ahead and defy danger for me with... I'll let you choose between wits or intelligence because you have a particular connection to fire.
Nice. I'm gonna do it with intelligence.
You get an XP.
Hey, that's great.
You discover that it is neither of the two on the right, as fire, a gout of flame comes up, but you were working on like those two, so I need you to roll a d4 for me.
All right. D4.
Okay, 3 damage minus any armor and any other sort of stuff you want to do magically.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my fire thing. Hey, there you go.
You're fine.
You take no damage.
I heal my fire damage with fire. And yeah, I'll just make my way through the other rooms as well.
Okay. Go ahead and defy danger for me one more time with intelligence.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So the good news is you find the correct one. The bad news is it's the last one that you step on. So I need you to roll another d2 for me.
D2 or D4?
It's a d2. You only did one
Okay. Okay.
before you hit the right one.
All right. Or D2.
Okay, so it's 1 point, and if you wish, you can try to do your thing
Yeah.
again.
Of course, I'm gonna do the thing. It's D4.
Although actually, the minimum you can get is 1, so you're fine.
Yeah.
So when you step on the last one on the left, the lava comes up, but does not come up above the level of where the bridge is. It's a bridge of lava forms, a gout of lava that is, as long as you are standing on that sigil, it is standing there, going all the way across. So the rest the middle of the bridge is now made of lava.
I look around. I look to the party and I say,
Well, what's next?
Somebody's gonna have to throw me.
to the lava, into the bridge of lava.
Because either that or the last person standing on this has got to be incredibly fast.
Maybe there's another symbol on the opposite side to hold it for the last person.
Ah, let's try that.
Probably. Yeah, there look like there are 5 more over there you can try.
Why don't we take a note of the rune that we pressed?
Oh, certainly, that might help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell you
Find
what
the
then.
matching one.
I'll stand here and maybe the immolator can go across because he's had the best luck with being on the wrong rune so far.
So, funny thing. An interesting thing happens when Kestrel steps up to the front of the bridge. You're sort of moving forward, and then suddenly you're drifting.
Ah.
And you're above the lava, the level of the lava, and you just drift across to the other
Okay.
side.
So I guess I'll try stepping on some stuff. Does it set me down at any point?
Yeah, it sets you down.
Okay.
Actually, you pass over where the sigils are and down onto the other side somehow.
Is there a matching symbol on this side?
There are symbols on this side. They do not match the others.
Because of course they don't. Elementals. Okay. Fine. How do we want to do this?
All right. Can we put a rock on this rune and maybe, the weight of it will hold the rune down and we don't have to hold it?
We can always have Alyssa stand on it.
So, from having stood on it, Candlefang is understanding that this is actually drawing a tiny bit on your life force. Not enough that it's causing you any kind of damage, but it's like a person kind of needs to be here to make this work.
Yeah, it's not a pressure plate so much as it is a magical effect.
Okay.
Right.
So let's use Rorik's idea and maybe the bird can stand on it.
Or we could just all go across and then we can each try one of the runes. So we don't have to have everybody taking the damage.
Right.
All right. All right, so never mind, it's just going to shrug and he's going to make his way across the bridge.
So you step close to the edge and nothing happens.
God damn it.
And something...
It's just a feather.
Yeah, something occurred. Yeah.
Oh, that's just lame.
But, yeah, there may be...
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Should I step on something over here?
Would you check your feather and see if anything happened to it while it was,
Your feather's fine.
No.
Actually, it's a little, it's not warm at all.
Hmm.
And you use the feather to activate the runes.
Maybe. I'll touch it to the rune in the middle.
So, you bring your hand down and touching the feather to it doesn't seem to do anything. But as you do so, your hand kind of touches it and it starts to glow for a second.
The feather?
No, your hand. The sigil. There we go. The sigil starts to glow for a second, and you see a little gout starting to come up. I don't know if you pull back or not.
Yeah.
You do. It doesn't. You don't feel it, which is weird.
Oh. I'm just gonna stand on that sigil then.
You stand on it, the one in the middle, and you see this gout of flame that comes up that should be hurting you, because it's like right up next to you. It's not stopping like that one, but it's not touching you for some reason.
I hold the feather flame. Back off. Yeah.
So it then occurs to you that it's probably not this sigil, but you can probably find the right one.
Yeah, I'll get off this one.
Yeah.
Try some others.
So you try them in sequence, basically, until you find the right one, because the flames don't hurt you while you're holding the feather. Apparently.
This feather is my friend now. Okay.
And
Sucks
yes.
to be that guy I stole it from.
Once you push your foot down on the one on the far left, again for you, although you're facing them, so far left, far right type deal.
Right.
Then the lava comes up and forms sort of like sides to the bridge, and they appear instantly to harden into stone.
Ooh.
And then both sigils go out.
Run! Everybody run!
Rourke
Okay.
will try crossing the bridge, as it is.
You step across. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. You're good. You walk all the way across.
All right, let's cross the bridge.
You cross the bridge. And on the other side, As you get to the other side, you notice that one of the fire imps appears to have caught some kind of like fiery fish-looking thing.
Neat.
And
Magma fish.
magma fish. And a portal opens to toward another, what looks like another chamber, with more light coming from it.
Hey, never mind. You should write a song about this part of the adventure. Call it Ifriti Bridge.
I'll take that under advisement.
Or firefish.
As Nevermind sachets across the bridge. And I guess we don't get paid by the hour, so we're just going to Nevermind is just going to pass his way through the portal.
All right. As you come into another chamber, you see that it looks kind of like a common area where people they're like tables and chairs and things made of stone here. And there is, prior to it, there's like a little nook-looking thing in the back with which has another sort of door that's closed, a small door. A lot of sort of stone benches and such here, and hallways leading off. Again, carved into the rock. Once you step in, and again, they're more sort of there are like little sort of also little nooks that don't have doors in them around the room that have sort of like little, you can see light coming from them a little bit. Perhaps there's something sparkling there. It's hard to say, but you don't have a lot of time because then as this happens, you see you all get this feeling that someone is watching you, and you notice a sort of a glow from probably from a hallway on the right, and you see what looks like a person step out. They don't have a discernible gender, but they come out, and they appear to be, they're glowing red. Their skin appears to be made of magma. As they just sort of look at the three of you, and turns and raises a hand, and you hear from the ceiling, this sort of bit of mist comes down and coalesces into the form of another person. This one looks slightly feminine. And, sorry, Jim is having to remember these things suddenly. Yes, okay, got it. One more. Then, from another side cave, and you barely see it, you don't notice it until it's in the room. It's like a human-sized version of one of the fire imps. And these three beings just sort of step forward curiously and are slowly approaching you. You're just sort of, yeah, go ahead.
So who exactly went through the portal with me? You mentioned there were only three of us here?
No, there are only three beings in this room.
Oh, okay. All right. Parlay?
That are not part of the party.
Okay. Parlay?
Rourke would have followed. Never mind. It's like,
I assume we
got
all
it.
went through together.
So you if you ask to parlay, they're like the one in the middle, which is the one that looks sort of effervescent, the one that looks slightly feminine and is this sort of little sort of dust, sort of steam dust, being sort of vaporous creature, just sort of comes forward, gestures.
I don't know what follows after this. So, is there some sort of secret fire language, Candlefang? That you could use to communicate with these creatures?
Is there?
There are many languages used by the elementals. However, whatever they speak, I do not know.
Can I spout lore about these creatures?
Certainly.
It's great, because that's the thing I want to do.
Okay. I need to tell you something interesting. It's on you to make it useful. These beings represent sort of liminal elements. They're kind of like golems that exist. There's one of them is a lava golem, one of them is a steam golem, and the other one it's very akin to like a fire imp, but it's more sort of a haze creature made of that haze that you get with the mixture of fire and air. So they're it's basically fire plus other element equals this.
So we have fire rock, fire water, and fire air.
Yeah, I relayed information to the party, I think.
These are guardian golems. They're all related to fire.
So, are we permitted to pass?
That I do not know.
That's what he would. Sorry, that's what Nevermind
sorry.
would say.
They're doing this.
Oh, they want something.
Wind blows, fire burns, falls.
The one in the middle, the steam in the middle was, you saw that too?
I hold forth the feather. Does any of them seem interested in the feather?
They look at it and they're like, and the one in the middle again points at you, nods at you and points at you and gestures behind them, and then holds their hands out for the rest of you.
I take my water skin and pour some into the misty one's hand.
Okay, the misty one is seems a little reinvigorated by it, and steps forward, as if to touch you. Do you allow this or not?
Yes.
Okay. It is very warm. This is kind of like, getting boiling water thrown on you. But it's not enough to do damage. It does hurt. So it steps forward and just sort of takes you by the shoulders and kisses you on the forehead. And pulls back. And your forehead is now kind of feels like it's got a first degree burn. And then steps back and it gestures to you too.
Say, never mind. Do you still have that contract with you?
I do.
Maybe you could feed it to that fire golem.
Nice.
I'll reach into my bag and pull out the contract, sealed with Lord Sonus's signature, and I will offer it up.
So which one are you handing it to?
I'll hand it to the one that looks kind of like the fire elemental.
Okay, so the one that looks like the fire imp, so the haze one, the one that's
Yes.
like fire and air.
Yes.
It sort of is like it's like it looks at it for a moment and it pulls its hand back.
God damn it! I will never be free of this contract.
It just sort of nods, looking over it. Actually, it nods, looking over at one of the other two.
All right, so I'll hand it to the one that hasn't accepted anything yet.
Okay. That would be the one that looks like it's made of either lava or magma, depending on which side of the room you're standing.
Sure.
It opens it steps forward, and it takes it in its hand, looks at it, looks at you, nods. And as it burns, it starts to burn, it reaches forward toward your hand.
I will reach out and touch the hand, but do so in a very dramatic fashion, as if to make this very pivotal moment.
What part of your hand and or arm do you allow it to touch?
We'll say the right hand.
Okay.
In the palm.
On the palm? Okay. Searing agony. As you feel what seems like lava on the palm of your hand. It burns. You smell human flesh burning for a moment. It doesn't do any points of damage, but it hurts. And as he pulls his hand back, you see that a symbol, not unlike a sort of a hieroglyph, has appeared on the palm of your hand, of Nevermind's hand. And you realize that now, should you ever wish to take on a different name or identity, you can use this symbol as that, if you so desire, to
The
confound those who would bind you to a
formerly known
contract.
as
Okay.
Jedi.
The artist formerly known
Exactly.
as Nevermind.
Well, it makes sense that one took the contract. It's a rock producer.
Good night, folks.
We're all kidding.
Honestly, waiting 3 episodes just for that was well fucking worth it.
It was. So, see, never mind. Look as if like a burden has lifted from his shoulders. His skin glistens and sparkles in the light as he looks askance to the ceiling of this room. His finger is outstretched and smoking because, he just got burned. I am free from the shackles of my persona. I am nothing but love. As it's experienced on the planar spheres. I am no longer Nevermind. This is who I am now. He'll point to the symbol in his hands. Not Nevermind, just an artist. And then he'll just, step aside and then walk forward and, join.
Yes. Yeah, they gesture at the door. Go to the door. I kind of wish you'd gone last. Who's next?
Rourke will take his last arrow and see which one of the elementals would like it.
Let's see.
Do your arrows have feathers? Or fletching?
It's a good question.
Of course.
Yeah.
They have wood, feathers,
Yeah.
metal.
They're kind of confused a little bit, but it's like you think that probably the lava one is the one that it's got the most in common with. So it'll take that one.
Rourke will present the arrow to it.
It will take the arrow. It looks at it. Its eyes blaze for a moment, and it burns. Everything but the feathers on it burn. And as it consumes it, it seems to grow stronger a little bit. And let's see. It reaches forward to touch you somewhere. Where do you wish to receive the blessing?
Left shoulder, because Aja sits on the right.
He puts his hand down on your left shoulder. And again, searing pain! Terrible, terrible pain. Lava on flesh. The hand comes away. And there is now a mark, once again, that is burned into your shoulder. And it gestures to the door.
Since this is a spirit of the wild, even though that it may be a conjured one, Rourke will bow to it and step around it to the door.
I believe that leaves Candlefang.
Yeah. Candlefang will start to generate a small sphere of fire hovering over his hand that gets increasingly bigger, and extends his hand towards the haze elemental.
Yeah. Of course, that one you can give to any of them, really, but
Yeah.
he'll take it. He'll take it. It's like, he looks at it. It's like, and he starts to reach forward, then stops. Looks at you, nods, and just gestures for you to go through. Does not give you a mark.
I nod and immediately just suck the flames into my sigil and walk past.
Does that mean he's proven his worth as an immolator? Because a being of fire has acknowledged the fire within him?
It does indeed.
Damn. I got you covered. Had to pay you back for that bond, so...
Yeah.
The final door opens. And in the chamber beyond, you see a stone altar, a very wide altar. One that Candlefangs finds slightly familiar from a historical perspective. Arrayed with many different objects. Each one with a little sort of stone bowl sitting in front of it. Not so much a trial, but a request for an exchange. And among these items, you see there are things like there is a cup, there is a there's a helmet, there's what looks like a small little metal statue, but one that catches everyone's eye is the short sword that sits pointed down into the stone in the very middle. And that, I think, is where we are going to end for this week.
That sword looks like something that can take a Gorgon's head off.
It does it not?
Well, we
It
shall find out
does.
next week.
Well, there we are. We have come to the end of yet another session. And soon, we are getting closer. We're getting closer. Very soon, we'll finally be at the City of Pillars. Thank you again for playing, everyone. Let us go around and ask folks to say what you thought of this session, any favorite bits or what have you, and say where folks can find you. Feel free to put any links and such in chat, as always. Once again, we go in reverse order as the elders taught us. We shall start with Dragun.
Well, first of all, hi, elders. Yeah, thank you very much for running the game. It's been extremely fun so far. A little bit of a quiet one for me today, I think. I'm a little bit under the weather. But, you know. Such happens every now and again. Yeah, I am the Son of a Dragon. You can find me at twitch.tv/Son of a Dragon. I copied the URL without the important bit. Or twitter.com/Son of a Dragon as well. Well, I'm taking kind of like a not a break, but I'm streaming less often than I used to. Mondays and Tuesdays. I've been playing a bunch of adventure games. This week I finished Kathy Rain, and I played through the game Virginia, which was pretty cool. Very David Lynch inspired game, whose whole gimmick was that there's not a single line of dialogue said throughout the entire game, all done through visual and gameplay storytelling. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna play on next. But yeah, thank you very much for hosting the game, and to everyone else for playing as well.
Awesome. Yes, and I hope you're feeling better soon, sir.
Yeah, just lots of rest and water.
Yes, the opposite of what you did today. And let us move on to Opal.
I am Opal Dragon 98 on Discord. You can find me on Twitter as JDragon97. Opal Dragon on Roll20 and Discord, and Laura's Dragon here on Twitch. And honestly, this session, as I said earlier, was one of the best that I've ever done.
Yay!
Just for that one line.
That was a very impressive line.
Yes, it was. And also, you may find me here again next month. It's all up to our lovely GM here.
Yeah, I will have to see going through applications, so it's I have to just figure out who's where and what, so it's gonna take a while before I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I literally just signed up today.
Okay.
I will try to start streaming myself here within the next month or two. I'm still learning how to do that.
Cool. And Alyssa.
I really enjoyed this session, even if I was mostly just like standing in front of people waiting for something to happen. I think there's a lot of like cool story points that happened this session. And I have a strange feeling I just put myself in danger in order to heal someone. So that's kind of my thing.
That's true. We need to do end of session moves, so we'll do that as after the outros. I apologize.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you can find me at Origami Shuriken on Twitter and Discord, and catch me in about 45 minutes at twitch.tv/off_the table for the next episode of Super Duper.
Yay! Let us move on to Anino.
Hey, I'll just post my links here. Bang. You can find me as Anino Gaming on Twitter. I do a stream Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Extra Life channel called Dinner Stream Theater. I had a great time tonight. It was certainly memorable. A lot of things that happened that I did not expect to happen. I honestly thought I was going to die at some point.
There was a lot of fire.
Yeah, there was a lot of fire. And there were a lot of missed rolls, but I like how everybody is able to play off their losses and turn it into a really good storytelling moment. So, yeah.
Yay. Awesome. And finally, Brian?
I had even more fun this session than I did last session, and I had a lot of fun last session. My links are now up. You can find me. I'm Veclam23 here, just Veclam without the 23 on Twitter, and you can find me every 2 weeks or so on the Armor Goes Clank podcast, which is found at agcpodcast.info. And we've got 2 episodes out. I'm doing it with Mark Kinney, formerly of All Games Considered, and it's going great.
Awesome. Excellent. Very cool. Well, let's do the end of session move real quick. So end of a session, we're going to need to figure out if any bonds were resolved. So I'm just going to go down the line real quick. Brian, any bonds resolved?
Yeah, I think the way that we figured out the Nevermind and I Have a Con running thing,
it came to fruition.
I can't imagine that being used in a better way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So you get an XP for that. Anino, did you have any bonds that resolved?
2. So the one with Candlefang.
Okay, so you choose one of them to go. Well, actually, I don't know. You go ahead and take both.
Okay.
So you had one with Candlefang, which was what?
I contracted Candlefang to destroy
That's right.
the contract.
Yep, that's done. That got done.
And I also inspired Kestrel to dare to be great through song and music.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. You got both of those. Remember, any bonds that you are resolving between now and next time, you can come up with another one for each one of those with any of your party members. And Alyssa, did you resolve any bonds?
Let's see. Rourke wasn't in that much danger this time. I apparently impressed Kestrel. And brought him a step closer to converting.
Totally did.
So you got that one.
So I think that was the only one this time.
Okay, so you got a point for that. Opal, did you resolve any bonds?
I think Nevermind has learned more about the wild than what they originally started with.
I think the experience in this cave probably has a lot to do with that.
Yes. I've known the true power of fire.
Right. So you resolve that bond, and so you get a point for that. Dragon?
Yeah, the contract. Nevermind's contract is the one.
Awesome. So you've got that one. And just going through real quick for alignments. Brian, did you fulfill your alignment this session?
I actually did this time. I managed to avoid detection.
Awesome. Well, there you go. So you mark XP.
Okay.
Anino, did Nevermind hit his alignment this time?
He did not.
Okay. Alyssa, what about you? What about Druzy's?
Yes. Not sure how it's going to come back to bite me yet, but I definitely endangered myself to heal
You did.
Nevermind today.
You did. There you go. Opal, what about Rorik?
Well, I would consider these elements or elementals a spirit of the wild. So
Oh,
yes.
I agree.
Okay, and Dragon, what about Candlefang?
No, I haven't. I didn't
Okay.
spread anything.
Oh, you didn't spread any weird ideas.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Oh yeah.
And now questions for everyone, just in general. Did we learn something new and important about the world this session?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if we all agree that we did,
Oh yes.
yeah, then everyone gets an XP. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
I'd say so this
Yes.
time.
Agreed.
Massive fire elemental that
Everyone gets an
had
XP
his
for
head
that.
blown up.
Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Damn it, still no.
Almost.
Oh, yeah.
Stop just before you did. All right, so maybe next time. All right, and that's the XP. That's the session. Folks, thank you so much for playing. This has been awesome. I'm really enjoying it. I cannot wait to see what happens in our final session. And so I'm ready for it. I am so ready. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and the most recent short story I've released. Also, I am appearing on episodes of Tabletop Garden, their short Big Eye Small Mouth series. Is Ego Driver, which is post-apocalyptic craziness. I'm playing a lot of tropes out of both Death Race and Mad Max in that. So those are available. A few episodes are available already, but we just finished recording the series. So go to, I believe it's tabletopgarden.com if you want to check that out. Let's see. On the weekends, now unfortunately I had been hitting at the possibility of a world building thing. We're going to delay it a bit. That's unfortunately not everyone's ready. So we're not going to be doing that tomorrow, unfortunately. Now on Friday afternoons, Saturday and Sunday mornings, I play video games. And on every other Saturday, we attempt to play The Cold Ruins of Last Life. The next attempt will be a week from Saturday. We'll see what happens. On Sundays, I do one-shots. This Sunday will be the last one-shot of the month. Once again, we're playing Life on Mars, which is a wonderful little game about just very introspective about the first manned mission to Mars and how that mission affects the crew members and their relationships with each other. It's very interesting, very chill game. I really like it. On Tuesdays, I am over on Off the Table playing in their Urban Shadows campaign. I did a lot of teeter-tottering on the edge of morality in the last episode. And next episode, I have a feeling I might end up plunging over. We'll see. I was left with a terrible choice. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that's going to go. And so that's Tuesday night, the second of the two concurrent Urban Shadows campaigns that they've got going on. That's at twitch.tv/off_the table. And then 1 week from today, we'll be back for the finale of Dungeon World City of Pillars. And we'll finally see the City of Pillars and see what happens. It'll be very
And
interesting.
see me in a different hat.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Thanks much also the Mark Tygart. I keep not saying it. Was the one who came up with the scenario in the first place with the prompts that we used at the beginning. And we haven't seen... This hasn't... It says inspired by The Road to Ubar by Nicholas Clapp and the work of Ray Harryhausen. We haven't seen a lot of Harryhausen yet, but it's coming. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Sign-ups are open right now for April. Still got looking for folks. I got sign-ups going to be open through I think through next week for RVR, Robot Hamlet versus Robot Richard III, which is a hack of Lady Blackbird that I wrote about Shakespearean robots in space and the occasional lightsaber. If folks want to check that out, that's also going to be on Wednesdays later in the evening. So come forth, play Shakespearean robots. Sign up for that if you're interested. and we shall rifle through and see who's going to be on the crew. Also, the one-shots next month will be, there's Deadlands Noir. I'm doing a series called Tales of the Dust Bowl, which are each 3 one-shots, kind of re-injecting the Western back into the noir setting of Deadlands to get Western noir, still in the 1930s, but it's out west, so it's kind of like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou with monsters. So if there's any interest in that, feel free to sign up for those. And then, of course, the final Sunday of the month is a Cypher System game for a setting I created called Codex Fantasia, which is a game of fantastical enlightenment, sort of what you'd normally think of fantasy tropes and races, but in a sort of post-Renaissance kind of science versus church setting. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes. As always, beginners are welcome. When we go to the outro card, we are going to raid Extra Life for Kids, because this is when they are doing their thing. I believe it's Children's Miracle Network. Is that right? The charity they're supporting? I think that's one of them. I think I saw that in there.
Yes, it is.
So very cool. We're going to go ahead and go over to them when we go to the exit cards, so stay tuned for that if you are so inclined. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you next week for the finale. Farewell.